Quiz tomorrow, just on is it a function? We are in Unit 3. We are doing functions. We are on day 3. We are going to talk about function tables today. First, they talked about 2 words in the video that we watched instead of a warm-up. Hopefully it was something a little bit different. Hopefully hearing a different voice from Mrs. Armstrong and I. Those of you who have been here, you're like, oh, some of the stuff, I remember some of that stuff. He made it make a little bit of sense. But one of the words that he talked about was the word domains. Okay, he talked about domains in the video. What do we think domains were? Does anybody remember from that video, what did he say the domains were? Isabel? The X values. Domains are all of our X values. What was another name that we had for X values? What's another name, Evan? Yeah, inputs. So our domains are really one of 3 things. It's our inputs, it's our X values, or we can call them domains. Okay, it's our X's. So we have domains, and we have range. What is the range then? Megan? Yeah. All of our Y values. And again, what word did we have for the Y values, Sammy?
Output.
Outputs. Relatively easy. Okay? So you have domains and ranges. And you'll have a question like this on your test, not your quiz tomorrow. Nothing that we're doing right now is for the quiz tomorrow. Okay? So when I say, hey, you're going to have something like this, it's going to be later on. It's going to say, what are the domains and the ranges? And I might give you a question like this. 3, 4, 2, 7, 1, 9, 5, 7, and 6, 2. Okay? So to find the domains, I'm going to say domains, and I'm going to put it in a set. The set, just like he said, was the squiggly bracket. Which values are we looking for domains? Which letters? Come on, I should see more than 2 hands or 3 hands. Which letters are we looking for domains? Good, Gregor.
Go ahead.
The X values. So my first step is I would come up to my ordered pairs and I'd say XY, 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 XY. Okay? Still with me? So now, my domains are my X values. I'm going to put them in numerical order. Numerical order means how we would count. So my first one is 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. Those are my domains. Questions on that? If I asked you to do the ranges, could we find the ranges? And this one's a little bit trickier. Tell me exactly what to write for my ranges. So I want to know exactly what I need to write for my ranges. Go ahead, Sammy.
2,
Go ahead.
4,
Go ahead.
7, 7, 9.
So, Sammy repeated 7 twice. 7 does repeat twice. That's fine. In my range, how many times am I going to have 7? Just once. My range numbers don't have to repeat. We will not have them repeat. So my domains are 1, 2, 3, 5, and 6. My ranges are 2, 4, 7, and 9. So let's review a little bit. Is it a function? Why or why not? Is this a function? Why or why not? Mason, what do you think? Yes or no? Is it a function?
Yes.
Okay, why? What has to be different?
The x value or the y value? Which ones have to be different?
Just me. The x values have to be different. Are my x values different? Okay. I agree, I disagree with Mason that this is a function. Come on, I need more than just Grego. I need some more than Sammy. Come on. Brooklyn.
I agree.
Okay, why?
Because all of our x values are different.
All the x values, all the x's in the set of domains are different. Very good. This is a function. Domains are my x's, ranges are my y's. So again, what are the domains and ranges? And I'm going to give you so now we've got that mapping. So we've got this mapping right here. So I'm going to have my domains, and I'm going to have my ranges. What are the domains? Grego, go ahead.
1, 2, 2, and 3.
One what?
2, 2, and 3.
So you see that 2 happens twice. Do we need to put 2 twice down here? No. When we're doing domains and range, we do not have to repeat numbers. We just put it once. So 1, 2, and 3. What about our ranges? Jackson, what are my ranges?
4, 5, 6, and 7.
4, 5, 6, and 7. My question would then be, is it a function, David?
No.
Why?
Because there's each domain doesn't have a different y value.
Because each domain doesn't have exactly one output. 1 has one output, 3 has one output, 2 has 2 outputs. That cannot happen. Still with me? Okay, domains and ranges. Domains are my x's, ranges are my y's. Input, outputs. So, function tables. Let's talk about this again. Again, the gentleman on the TV or whatever that was, computer, the video that we watched.
Rob.
His name is Rob?
His name was Rob.
His name was Rob.
Figure out people.
He said, this is an equation, y equals 3x. This is not how you will see it on our function test, function quiz. This is not a function. Mostly because it's not stated as a function. F of x, this symbol, all of this takes the place of y. F of x equals 3x is the same. 3x matches up with 3x, equal matches up with equals. The y is the same thing as f of x. Everybody with me? Brendan?
Why can't you just put a y?
Because then it wouldn't be a function, then it would be a linear equation.
Oh.
Okay? So y equals 3x, f of x equals 3x. Everybody with me? Pretty easy. You will see a table that looks like this. It might say x and y, it might say inputs, it might say outputs. And it will say f of x, let's go, equals 3x minus 2. And then you're going to have this, -3, 0, 1, 7. If you go back to your warm-ups, we've been doing nothing but this the past couple days. I've said substitute x equals a number, right? And you've substituted it in. We are doing the same thing. We are substituting in. -3 needs to go in for what variable?
X.
For the x variable. So I am going to use this function. I'm going to say f of x equals 3. Every time we substitute in, we're going to put parentheses. -3 minus 2. Can we simplify this for f of x? Now, notice what we're trying to find, y. Do you see a y in this equation?
No.
What is taking the place of y? Evan.
Did you give a -2? Wait, no.
Megan? F of x. This is saying y equals. It's the same idea. F of x is taking the place of y. So now we need to simplify. And some of you are going to need to do work. You're not going to be able to do this in your head. So you're going to say 3 times -3 is -9. -9 minus 2 is -11. So now I've got f of x equals -11. Guess where that goes? With -3. Everybody with me there? Yes? Okay. So now I'm going to do 0. So I'm going to draw a line, and I'm going to say f of x equals. What's going in the place of x this time? Swill, what's going in the place of x? 0. So I'm going to say 3 times 0 minus 2. 3 times 0 is 0. Minus 2 is -2. So f of x equals -2. But f of x equals -2 only when x is what? What does x have to be for f of x to be -2? What did we substitute in? We substituted in 0. The only time that f of x can be -2 is when x was 0. One input to one output. See if you can get the next two. So I want you to get the next two outputs for 1 and 7. Go ahead. How to get the next two outputs. If you're having trouble, let me know. You have to substitute in. You're substituting in all of the numbers. You should have 4 equations written. So I substituted f of x equals 3 times the -3 for x minus 2. And I simplified it, so I got -11. The next one we substituted in 0. That's how we got -2. So now we're at 1. So I'm going to come over here. So my x is 1. So we substitute in f of x equals 3 times. Where am I getting this? Here's my function to start with. This is what we're substituting into. So 3 times x. Well, what's x?
1.
X is 1 minus 2. This is the same thing. 3 times 1 is 3. 3 minus 2 is 1. So f of x equals 1. When's the only time that f of x can equal 1? When x equals 1. That's its one output. Still with me? Last but not least, we're going to do 7. So now I'm going to do f of x equals 3 times what goes in for x? 7. Minus 2. So that gives me 21 minus 2, which is 19. So f of x equals 19. When's the only time that f of x equals 19? So raise your hands. When's the only time that f of x equals 19? Megan? When x is 7. Questions? Can we do one more example like this, please?
Yeah.
Okay. So you're substituting in. Notice I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 different problems that I'm working through. Okay? It's going to take a little bit of work. Okay, so here's our table. Our function is going to be f of x equals x minus 12. And we're going to go -5, 1, and 10. Go. So substitute in. Find these 3, please.
All right, everybody done with that one? That was pretty. So our function is telling us that x minus 12 is going to give us our output, right? So we're going to come down here and we are going to substitute -5 for x. So we end up with -5 minus 12. So y equals, Megan? -17. Okay? Same thing for x equals 1. 1 minus 12. Sammy? So try it again. So if we have 1 minus 12, it's going to give us a -11. Okay? F of x, x equals 10. 10 minus 12 gives us Brooklyn, because it's -2. Okay.
That's all there is to it. Truly and honestly, that's all there is to it.